Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone, and welcome to your number one source for Native American television news. It's Native News Today. Alongside Kyler McCowan, I'm Jason Salzman, welcoming you in for another episode. We feel like we got a good one today.
Yeah, definitely. A lot going on, a lot of really important issues.
I think so too. You know, the recent article coming out in the Tulsa World, we're going to touch on that. More crimes being prosecuted in any country. We've got the veterans event that came up. We've got a financial planning seminar with Merrill Lynch, and also writer-director from out in Arizona that's bringing a movie to Oklahoma.
Yes, a lot of great stuff here.
You're going to go to the premiere? No, maybe?
Maybe,
Thinking about it? Yeah, Circle Cinema there in
Looks
Tulsa.
fun.
You bet, you bet. Well, we're going to get started right off the bat. No wasting time around here. Our very first story is, of course, our main feature today. We went up to Tulsa and visited with the U.S. Attorney there for the North District, Mr. Danny Williams, about an article in the Tulsa World recently, more crimes being prosecuted in Indian country. I think this is great news for everyone around here. Indian country has seen an increase in the number of crimes prosecuted. According to a recent Tulsa World article, which cites a report from the U.S. Department of Justice, these prosecutions have increased to the tune of 54% since 2009. Northern District of Oklahoma U.S. Attorney Danny Williams Sr. and his team have taken an aggressive approach.
Working with the three-member team, we made it clear to them, we being the U.S. Attorney's Office, that we were going to be more aggressive in our prosecutions. And so part of that was to go out into the community, meet with the tribes, and advise them of the jurisdiction that we had, and that we were able, willing, and open for business. And if they would send us the cases, we would prosecute the cases. So I think that led to the increased numbers, the fact that our guys feel empowered to prosecute these cases also helped with those numbers going up.
Williams also talked about the responsibilities his office has to tribes, and the current administration making those responsibilities a priority.
We have trust responsibility to our Indian partners, and I think the President and the Attorney General made it clear that from the department standpoint, prosecuting Indian country crimes was going to be a priority. And so it allowed the U.S. Attorney's offices across the country that have Indian country to dedicate their resources to meet with their tribes. And so when those acts are reaffirmed or passed, it lets the tribes know that the federal government is going to stand with them, and we're going to take responsibility for our trust responsibilities in terms of prosecuting these cases. And so when you see it from Washington, D.C., it trickles down to the field. That gives our tribal partners more assurance that when they bring cases, we're going to prosecute them. We're going to consult with them, which I think has made a big difference with, at least in the last year or so, particularly with Oklahoma and in the Northern District.
For Muscogee Creek Nation Attorney General Roger Wiley, it's a nice change of pace to see the offices working together so well.
It's a nice change. It hasn't always been that way, but we've gotten good cooperation from federal prosecutors in the Eastern and Northern districts. We're covered by two federal districts here at the Muscogee Nation. Eastern District in Muscogee covers a good part of the nation, including where we're sitting today, Okmulgee. And then the Northern District covers Tulsa, where we have a lot of business interests, and of course our gaming is there too, our biggest gaming investment. But yes, we've gotten a lot of cooperation, and it's great to have. It's essential to be able to prosecute crimes both tribally and federally. We don't always have jurisdiction over all offenders, but the federal government does. The numbers increase we're seeing is also an acknowledgement that we do have issues here in Indian country. One of the highest crime rates is in Indian country. And it's been that way for a long time, and we're getting acknowledgement from the federal government that it is a problem, and they're doing something about it with our assistance, of course, and it's good.
Trent Shores, who's the tribal liaison at the Tulsa U.S. Attorney's Office and former Deputy Director of the Office of Tribal Justice in Washington, talked about the enhanced support of tribal law enforcement and justice systems.
Resources have been provided to the tribes in the form of federal grants and other training and opportunities to more fully develop the tribal justice infrastructure. When you look at tribal court systems or even just putting boots and equipment on the ground for tribal law enforcement, that has really enhanced and augmented their ability to prosecute crimes, as well as their ability to investigate crimes in coordination with federal officials as we look at cases that may go federal. So I think one of the biggest differences that we see is the availability of resources to tribal law enforcement entities.
Muscogee Creek Nation Light Horse Police Chief Richard Fixico echoed those sentiments.
The resources have, came about for both of us because sometimes we have resources they don't have, and sometimes they have the resources we don't have, and it all aids in the prosecution. That's kind of things that we look for too, and any major crimes that occur in Indian country goes to the United States District Court. So, aiding whatever assistance they can give us and whatever assistance we can give them has been, value to both departments.
All parties agree that the paramount reason for the success is the continued relationship building and communication between the tribes and the federal office.
Our district has always had a great relationship with our Indian partners. I have reached out and I've, quite frankly, done the tours, gone out to the nations, which I don't previously believe was done. And I thought it was important that I, as a U.S. Attorney, go out with my Indian country team and let them know that this is a priority not only on the national level but on the local level, and that they can trust and believe that we're going to prosecute their cases. I have an open door policy with the nations, and so when they know they can pick up the phone and call me, I'll go and talk to Trent or Clint or Shannon and ask them, hey, what's going on with this particular case? It makes you feel welcome, and when you feel welcome, you're more inclined to want to work with this office. And I think that's been the big difference from previous administrations, is that we have put out the welcome mat, so to speak, and said, bring us your cases. Even if we won't take it, even if we decline the case, we're going to give you explanations to why we declined it. And so I think it's just been a different tone that we've had with our Indian partners.
Kyla, one of the biggest days in America and one of the biggest days around here at Creek Nation certainly is Veterans Day. We had it this past week. Always a great event at the Creek Nation.
It really is, and I think it's really important that we do have such an important involvement in it, and for our other citizens and veterans as well. You got it. The VASO is right here, Veterans Affairs Services Office. Those are the guys and gals that put this on. Great event, and it's very special this year. And watch this story, because not all Veterans Days are like this one. This was very special. Muscogee Creek Nation Veterans Celebration took on extra meaning this year as one of the tribe's brave men finally took his place of recognition in Muscogee veterans history. With his family in attendance, George Baker, who was killed in action in World War I, was recognized by his tribe and immortalized in the nation's Veterans Affairs Building with a plaque recognizing his service. For years, the family had worked to retrieve Baker's records, and with the help of researcher Mary Johnson and the Muscogee Veterans Affairs Services Office, they did just that. Johnson traveled in from her home state of Kentucky for this special day and was recognized for her efforts.
Mrs. Johnson has done incredible work. Her desire, her emotional involvement, her competence, and it's her guys that she works for. She says, when we met her, and she said, well, every time I work on one of my guys, right there we knew her heart was in the right place, knew we were talking to her, knew it was Sergeant Baker was talking to her. What she has done with us, with the Baker family, and for our tribe, is absolutely monumental.
It is a great honor to be able to come here to the Creek Nation and to be able to be a part of this ceremony. It means the world to me. There's no words can express how I feel to be able to be a part of this, and to be able, I think that it was God that led me to be able to find the information on Mr. George Baker, and for his case to actually get to come to me makes it a great honor.
For George Baker's family, this day was the culmination of many years of hard work, and they were thankful for the efforts of the Muscogee Creek Nation.
I've been doing research for 12 years now, and just recently coming over to the Creek Nation and then finding the Veterans Affairs Office, and then you have to contact them, and contacting some other people, they really started putting everything together with the information we had. It was hard to come by. It meant a lot. They were really, really involved and stayed with it and made phone calls to us, and it wasn't an afterthought for them. So it really impressed us with Creek Nation and our family.
For Mary Johnson, each case working for a veteran takes on special meaning.
I come from a very long line of veterans. I've had 4 uncles in Vietnam. I had great uncles in Korea. We have traced some of my family's history back to revolutionary soldiers. So the veterans are very near and dear to my heart. And every one of the cases that I work on, the veterans are my family. They're my guys.
Every now and again here at Creek Nation, the employees are treated to some great knowledge, information, and sort of seminars that come through during the week. This was no different. Merrill Lynch came down, and a guy that a lot of people know, Frank Mitchell, the former meteorologist at KTUL, but I think it was a very helpful seminar.
It really was. I actually went, some of the coworkers, since, I mean, you were kind of putting it on. No, it was a great event, and it was a lot of knowledge.
Yeah,
that
I think so too.
We can all learn from.
You got it, yeah. Retirement planning, kids' education, a little bit of everything. We're at the Mound Building at the Capitol Complex as we have a great event here today. In Homata Muscogee presents Financial Planning Seminar with Merrill Lynch. A lot of great things, a lot of great investment strategy, retirement, children's education planning, a little bit of everything for the employees here at Muscogee Creek Nation. Very fortunate to have them here.
We got the email this morning about the financial seminar going on today here at the Mound, and which I felt was a great opportunity for employees to come out and hear information. I was especially interested in the portion about discusses the financial, preparing for your child's education. And with me having a 10-year-old, it's a great opportunity for me to look into it and get started, because she'll be going to college soon and it's expensive, so I want to be able to be prepared for her future. He said whatever an employer matches you, you should always put that in, and so I think I'll go ahead and boost mine up just a little bit more and hopefully have enough money by the time I retire.
I mean, this was a really great event. I learned quite a bit to sort of offset some of the things I had known from my own sort of financial planning for myself and my wife. And I guess a point to stress is the economic sort of environment being such that it is. It's kind of bumpy now, and so we can probably anticipate that it's going to be that way in the future. There were some younger members, I think, younger employees here that realized the things that really struck home, that they were wanting to sort of what's it going to take to retire at 65. And my own parents still work. They're not even retired. I'm not going to give away their age, but they haven't retired at 65. And so if they're not retiring at 65, I think that's the same for most people's parents, just the generation before us, for our leadership group, is that if they're not retiring, that's something for us to certainly consider, and not just the responsibility for our own sort of, I mean, it's responsibility for our families, but it's also a responsibility, I guess you learn, that how, if you really get into the economics of things, that we're all sort of in this together. And so I think that that's a great thing for this leadership group, is that we're trying to promote that, again, we're all in this together, and looking out for each other's economic well-being in the future with programs like this.
Daniels in Ogitskish, Bonshongi Benoat, Bomio, Boshomizatlish.
Momesh, Harishongigo Imongin, Hobidagi, Ani Omaga, Bomahahoye Imongin Oma, Bonshomegigosh. For more information about Muscogee language preservation, please call us at 918-732-7724.
All right, welcome back to Native News Today, and now we have a special treat. We're going to talk a little bit about a movie premiering this next week at the Circle Cinema here in Tulsa, Native American film. And, well, I'm not going to tell you about it. Let's just show you the trailer. Here's More Than Fry Bread.
Our mission is twofold. We want to promote the art of fry bread cookery, and second, we want to make sure that we unify the Native Americans, bringing out the best of the best, as we like to say.
If there are two things in life that I am probably best at, it's making bread and beauty pageants.
We're here live to bring you front row coverage of the championship round of the first annual Arizona State Fry Bread Championship.
There's a reason they call it Navajo Fry Bread, because Navajo Fry Bread is the best.
I will be representing the Yavapai Apache tribe at the State Fry Bread Championship.
We've been cooking for about,
I don't know, since we could walk, probably even before we could crawl. That's true.
Yeah, I like cooking. It's a great escape for me, especially if you live my life.
The winner gets to go to New York City. Let's get it
on! This is the official trophy that we'll be handing out in a few days, also along with $10,000 in cash.
It's more than just the bling bling, yo. It's my family, my nation's pride at stake here.
Watch out, because there's gonna be a fight. What if Brigades in the house?
That's why they send to me. Send it the best. Just like that card place. Send the best. Or however that goes.
And the flames represent the fire that makes the fry bread. Of course, we're not going to be allowed to use open flame in the dormitory center.
Fry bread's not even the correct term. I like to call it indigenous bread.
And so what exactly does a fry bread contest entail?
There is a standard criteria that the judges follow. It covers things like the size of the bread, the roundness, the color, the smell, the texture, and of course, most important and my favorite, the taste.
I don't know why Buddy Begay is in the competition. My grandmother should have obviously been the Navajo representative. She's been making bread before he was born.
I just make the bread. I just create. I just make magic. People come over and want to buy my bread and not their bread. Sorry, Grandma. Okay?
I'm here to win. It's not about being overconfident. I call it visionary.
It's a big deal to get this far.
Isn't history always written by the winners?
I'm starting to feel the pressure. She's gonna do fine. She got me on her team.
At a local contest and I won, I'm not surprised.
You know, he's big time. He's like the Jim Morrison of fry bread, you know, Tom Cruise of fry bread, if you will.
The wolves will even cry when they hear his name.
I am very excited for this competition. Very excited, I must say.
All right, I know you're excited about that film coming up and being shown at the Circle Cinema in Tulsa this week. And we're very excited now to provide you, the writer and director of that film, Mr. Holt Hamilton, all the way from Arizona out in the desert. Thanks for being with us today, Holt.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, I know you're excited about the premiere, and you ran this movie out already, but you're glad to be finally bringing it to Oklahoma. Just talk a little bit about your thoughts coming up with this week.
Yeah, we've taken the film, numerous reservations, reserves all over U.S., Canada, and have yet to bring it to Oklahoma. And so we've had lots of people over the past, over a year that have wanted us to get it to Tulsa. Come to Tulsa on Facebook, other channels. And so it's exciting to finally find a venue that's very supportive, and look, to bring the film out and looking forward to meet the community and looking, most importantly, have a good time. So
we talk about, what you've done in the past and your productions. Just give us a little bit of insight on how that all got started and really how you focused a lot of that on Native American issues and subject matter.
Yeah, this is our fourth feature film. First film was a movie called Turquoise Rose, and I actually wrote that when I was deployed over in the Middle East with the Iraq situation, and I got pulled out of film school and shipped over, and that was kind of one of my ways that I escaped that environment was by writing. And so, came home and, hey, let's make a movie. We've never made one before, really know what we're doing, and so let's go out and see what happens. And then it's kind of just, hopefully the movies have progressed over the past few, and kind of the big one right now are newest one is the Fry Bread film.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Fry Bread film. It looks like it's a lot of fun, and it looks like maybe that's probably what you were going with anyway from the beginning.
Yeah, Fry Bread's a big issue. I didn't actually realize when I was writing the film and making it how big of an issue Fry Bread is, not just in Arizona, but across, Native country.
It's a phenomenon.
Huge, so it's huge. And so I, just had, being in Arizona for a while, lots of friends that, would tell me that their grandmother's fry bread was the best, and it all tasted great to me. And so I started to kind of key in on like, oh, this is really interesting. And what if there was a big, worldwide fry bread competition? And so kind of created it that. And the film focuses on the Arizona State Fry Bread Championships. We have 22 tribes in Arizona that all send one representative to compete for the title. And so it's, a lot of people have compared it to kind of Best in Show, some of the mockumentary films that have been put out. So we had a lot of fun making it. Shot in about 12 days. We were moving really fast. And
specifically with your production company and things like that, where do you see things going kind of from here? Is there going to be some more films out in the coming months? What kind of direction are you thinking about?
Yeah, we're definitely going to keep making movies. We're working on one we hope to shoot early next year, 2014, kind of a UFO native thriller film. Our previous films, we've kind of jumped genres. I still consider myself kind of a independent filmmaker that's still really learning and trying to figure out what I'm doing. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still learning and trying to figure things out. But that's kind of the next film we want to make is you kind of think Jason Bourne with a little like Men in Black and have some fun as well. Just trying another genre. And we're going to be shooting this one on 4 or 5 reservations from Arizona all the way up into Washington, state of Washington. And a lot of those connections we've made as is directly from taking this Fry Bread film on tour. And so meeting communities that, certain ones have been very opening and, welcoming. And so going back to shoot part of this next film with some of those communities and looking for actors, in those areas. And so that's one thing coming out to Oklahoma here next week is looking, going to be looking for actors as well. And always have an eye out for stories, an eye out for locations. Just really trying to build a community that, wants to watch another good film. I don't think for me seeing one film like, oh, I saw the greatest film ever made, I saw Lord of the Rings or whatever, and I'm never going to watch another movie. That's not how it goes. So it's exciting too to see, native film improving and getting better and moving forward, because, actors that are on another film, maybe it's their first movie, now I can watch that movie and see them, hey, they would be great for this part. And the same thing I hope that happens with the films that we're making is, we had 60-some speaking parts in this movie. A lot, majority are first-time actors, and right away I know actors I'm going to use on the next film, and hopefully others will see the movie and say, hey, I can bring that actor into my movie. And same time building crews, and so I think it's all kind of that collaborative effort that I love about the independent film community and, native countries. We're all trying to have a good experience, a win-win across the board, and move forward.
Well, you're talking about taking care of the present and everybody in the industry there, but also taking care a little bit of the next generation. You putting on workshops at different tribal communities and whatnot.
Yeah, we have. We've made some great connections. Specifically, one comes to mind, the Yakima community in Washington. We went out, we showed the Fry Bread movie there. They brought us up, treated us really nice, had a great event. They had their first annual Worldwide Fry Bread Association sponsored Fry Bread contest this past year. They just had their second annual, and then they were able to invited us back. We went back a few months later and held like a 1-week workshop with the youth, and that's one of the places we're going to be shooting some of the next film, is because we actually spent some time in the community and learned some of the stories, and saw some of the sites and really saw the talent and the opportunity that's there. And so we hope to go back up and put a couple of actors from that part of the world on the screen and tell a little story there. And I really think I really enjoy the aspect of that intertribal connection. There's a lot of commonality across native country, even up into Canada, taking the film that I probably enjoy the most, of just all people coming together and trying to help each other out and improve the world. And whether it's one little Fry Bread movie that helps some people laugh and forget away from their worries, or some of those things is, I guess, kind of my good motivation to make another film.
Absolutely, and we're going to be looking forward to that one, just like we're looking forward to this one, and the people in Tulsa and this surrounding area definitely want to make it out. That's November 21st, and so it'll be out at the Circle Cinema there in Tulsa. A lot of people know where that's at. So what time is it again?
7 p.m.
Okay, 7 p.m. Circle Cinema, November 21st, this next week. And Holt coming out from Arizona, gonna have a good time. I definitely know he will in Oklahoma. We'll welcome him with open arms. But Holt, thanks for being with us here on Native News today. We appreciate you stopping by and talking about this upcoming film.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck with your show.
All right, thank you, man.
I'm going to support it all the time.
Oh, man, that's great. We'll be seeing you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Holt Hamilton, of course, the writer and director of More Than Fry Bread, and that's coming up this week. Premiere there at the Circle Cinema. A lot of people in Oklahoma looking forward to that. Glad to bring it to you here today. We're going to take our next break. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll be right back with the rest of Native News Today.
Gadat, Ibufanga, Nage, Adigat, Bunhayadi, Omega, Ajayi Omis.
Diosnok, that's true. Throughout the generations, our elders have taught us to preserve, share, and more importantly, protect the abundant natural resources we have here in Oklahoma. We are the original environmentalists and protector of these resources. The Muscogee Creek Nation believes tribal and state governments must work together to ensure future generations will have clean air and clean water as the ultimate legacy. What is good for Oklahoma tribal nations is good for all Oklahomans. Remember, tribes are truly the original Oklahomans.
All right, and that wraps up this week's episode of Native News Today. We certainly hope that you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Lots of great things. Want to thank the U.S. Attorney's Office, the North District up there in Tulsa, Danny Williams, the entire Native American legal team, Tribal Liaison, Trent Shores. Those guys really just welcoming us in with open arms this week. Thank them for that. And also the Tulsa World for bringing to light a really great article there.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have also want to thank Frank Mitchell and his crew at Merrill Lynch coming down. A very helpful seminar for our employees. Can't say enough about the veterans. They're why we enjoy our freedom, and Muscogee Creek Nation veterans. George Baker, on such an important day for him, his family, we'll never forget him, and the Muscogee Creek Nation never will. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that we were able to honor him like that. So, and Holt Hamilton, get out on the 21st this month. You can check out that Circle Cinema, More Than Fry Bread. So, and a lot of stuff coming up too, up in Tulsa.
Definitely. Next Friday, the 22nd, Iron Gate will actually have a Muscogee Day, where they're going to try and get a Muscogee church there, and they're going to try and get everyone out there serving, some elected officials out there serve.
It'd be great. And they also have like a commission there, and actually it's formed together from Native Americans doing a wonderful job at Iron Gate. So that's all we got for this week, everyone. Have a great next 7 days. We'll see you next Saturday. Thanks for watching Native News.